standing next to this epic bramble of Himalayan blackberry. It's early spring right now, so there's just a few green leaves starting to pop up, but in case you're a West Coaster of North America like I am, you'll find Himalayan blackberry is invasive all over the place. People often just rip it out and try to burn it, and it's really hard to get rid of because every time you cut off one root crown, like 10 more sprout out in its place, like Gorgon's head from Roman mythology. It's coming to get you. So I thought I'd tell you a few things that are useful that you could do with it because it's medicinal. You can see here the Himalayan blackberry. It has 5 leaflets. That's its structure there on one. This is actually one leaf, and it does have the gray underside. It's one of its identifying factors. You'll also be able to identify it by the big thorns that grab onto your clothing when you walk by. And yes, the underside of the leaves, they'll get you too. I once saw somebody write a note in ethnobotanical literature. It says, you can use blackberry leaves to stop bleeding gums. And I thought, well, if you keep the thorns on, it might give you bleeding gums. So yeah, careful about how you approach that. But nonetheless, it is really astringent. And yeah, it's a nice astringent herb that can stop bleeding, but you definitely want to get around those thorns. What I would do is get some gloves, harvest the leaves, dry them, and then with like leather gloves, once it's dry, strip the leaves off the thorns, really get it down to something that you could then make a poultice out of if you needed to, or brew it into tea. The tea can be used as a wash to astringe bleeding anywhere, topically, internally, can help with bleeding hemorrhoids, bleeding ulcers. But really, blackberry it's a Rubus species, just like raspberry leaf, and it's super nutritious. So you can certainly use the leaf of blackberry as a substitute for raspberry leaf, and there's so dang much of it. Holy crap. Yep, there's plenty of it. It goes on, and this is actually a very small bramble compared to the acres of brambles that I've seen here in the Sierra foothills. So that's a little bit about it. The root is more astringent than the leaves, but the leaves are pretty much all you need. The roots have been known to be used for things like watery diarrhea. And it will work for diarrhea. Look, there's some new growth. Yeah. But in general, if you've got just an acute case of diarrhea, that's the body trying to clean something out. So you don't really want to astringe diarrhea unless it's necessary. Like a case of cholera, that's a good excuse to astringe some diarrhea. Or if it's chronic diarrhea and you're trying to work on gut health, this can be a temporary fix. You drink it as a tea while you're correcting the root cause. Remember, herbs don't correct root causes, but hey, they're great for palliative care. Look at those nice gnarly thorns. You can hurt yourself with that. And lastly, I'll tell you about the asshole who decided it was a good idea to bring this plant over here. There's a famous botanist from the early 1900s and named Luther Burbank, from which the town of Burbank, California was named after. And he was the one who developed the russet potato, the ever so large tasteless potato that most American French fries are made from. And he also was the one who decided it was a cool idea to bring the Himalayan blackberry to America and encourage people to put it in their yards because it produces a really large, juicy fruit. And it became known as the plant that swallowed the West. Thanks, Luther. We appreciate it. Now you've contributed to an invasive species that has literally gone up and down the West Coast. And it's now a very problematic thing. But there is one cool thing about it. Despite its invasiveness, it creates a shelter for baby trees to grow in areas that have already been desolate, like places where the landscape's already disturbed. So the blackberry comes in and it likes already disturbed soil, so it'll take over in those places, and it becomes a shelter for baby trees to grow that can't get squashed or eaten by livestock or wild animals. And so the baby trees can get established, and then they eventually can grow up and create a new woodland habitat. So they do serve as sort of a scab on a wounded landscape to help encourage the regeneration of native forests. So there's a good thing. I guess we can thank Luther for that too. Hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about blackberry. This is my awesome companion, my herbal companion, Eva. She's telling you should like and subscribe to my channel for more cool herbal knowledge and tidbits. Mwah!